All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to people watching from different parts and different time zone. Welcome to a short, sweet 30-minute office hour slash Q&A. So this video, you can essentially ask me any questions live. Your questions will be shown in the comment box that you see oops, over here, right? Uh, over here, and we'll try to answer your questions as you guys post. Okay, so yeah, if you guys have questions, please post them in the chat box, and we'll be answering the questions in the order in which we have received them. So let's get started answering the questions. Yep, the live feed is okay. Kapil is here. Hey Kapil, what's up, man? Let's catch up, man. Has been a long time. So Kapil is my engineering friend. We were in KJ Somaya Sion from 2012 to 2016. So man, good to see you, man. Oh, that's good. The tech maker. Hey, good. I'm good, Kapil. How are you, man? Let's catch up, man. It has been a long time. It's been a long. I was missing all those old moments, man. Robocon, remember the Robocon stuff? And then going all the Thadomal Shahani, DJ Sangvi, man, so fun, man. What a day! Amazing. I mean, what's up with you, man? Yeah, let's catch up maybe a weekend, Sunday or Saturday, Kapil. We have Gurunam says, hey, have you tried a QA automation? Nope, I haven't tried. Kapil says, yeah, good times. That's good, man. Yeah, do you remember? I still laugh whenever I think about all this stuff. But yeah, assignments, then the medical hospital where we used to write assignments right together. Oh man, such a long time. Good times. Man, I hope you're doing good, man, Kapil. Good to see you as always, man. I still remember Samir Wadi and all those amazing projects, One Shield and all of that. It's amazing. Long time. Ashutosh says past memories. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, yeah, Kapil is my engineering friend. We were together in the year 2012 to 2016. I guess has been more than 5-6 years since then. Yeah, we did electronic engineering together back in India. That's good. Man, what happened to your YouTube channel, Kapil? Why did you stop, man? You were uploading such a good contents, man, on Arduino and One Shield and Raspberry Pi. You should have kept going, bro. I shouldn't have stopped. But we'll catch up, man. That's good. That's good. Roshan says, how to deal with database connection limit in serverless web app? Well, essentially you put a SQSQ and you essentially you don't blast your databases with a lot of connections, right? And so what you can do is, if there is any insert, you could essentially put that in the queue, and the Lambda or any item would take it from the queue at a leisurely pace, and you could do your insert at a nice pace. Kapil says, too much busy with the current work, planning to restart soon. That's great, man. You should start your channel again, for sure. It's good. That's great, man. Yeah, Roshan, so basically put an SQSQ or some sort of a queue and essentially have workers, make it an asynchronous instead of a synchronous task, right? Say a user wants to insert something, instead of directly opening up a connection and inserting, put that in the queue, return a token to the user or say that it's acknowledged, and then your workers in the background will take the data and will essentially put into the SQS, into the database, sorry. Kapil says, what are you up to? Left hardware? Yeah, I left hardware, Kapil, for a long time, man. But still, I mean, I can make projects with all these, Arduino, this, that. But I'm more into software now. To be specific, I'm more into cloud now, especially serverless. That's my area of expertise now, because that's where I think the world is moving, right? Cloud, and which is why I am going in the direction where the world is going, right? Gauri Shankar says, hey Somil, how are you doing? I want you to give a tech talk on automation and tools on our organization. I want to give a tech talk in automation and tools in our organization. Would it be possible for you to connect? Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, let's connect. I'll send you my I'll send you my email address, and then from there we can connect one-on-one. I'll share my mobile phone number as well. So send me an email on my personal email address. There you go, man. Yeah, I'm more than happy to connect, man. Yeah. Yogesh Rama says, hi Somil, I have learned a lot from your videos. Thank you. But I want to understand one thing. I am new to AWS. I am worried about yeah. See, billing. See, one thing with cloud is, in a Spider-Man movie, as they say, right? With great power comes great responsibilities, right? To be honest, again, my company, in a matter of 1 month, these guys scanned, you'll be amazed. You know how much data we scanned using Athena last month? 175 terabyte worth of data. So now you must be doing the math. Okay, 175 TB times this. See, cloud gives you the power, but it also comes at a cost, right? But remember, for all these big companies, it is okay for them to do all these items, right? Remember, guys, everybody who's watching here, cloud is the future. That is where the world is going. Nobody's gonna be on their old monolithic application. People are moving to cloud. People are moving to event-driven applications, streams, real-time processing. Cloud is the future. That's where you wanna go. If you still wanna get stuck with the old stuff, well, feel free. Soon you'll realize you'll be obsoleted or you'll be outdated very soon, and you'll be replaced. If you don't want that to happen, learn AWS or any cloud and keep learning in that direction. I completely if you observed my YouTube videos from 3 years back, I used to post like Python, C#, Flutter, this, that. Now I'm just doing cloud, everything in cloud, because I know that's the future. Every company wants to migrate to cloud. Every company wants to move their data there. Every company has a lot of data, big data. They want to process this data, right? Your pandas is not going to work, right? Is your pandas going to work on a 30 GB file or a 1 terabyte data? Hello, right? So that's why I'm saying learn cloud. That's the future, right? Serverless technologies, database skills, storage options in cloud. That's where the world is moving. For searching, Elasticsearch. For storage, S3. For scaling up, event-driven application, Lambdas, EventBridge, SNS, fanning out. These are the future. Mark my words. That is why I am just learning AWS. If you observe my video as well, Athena, this, that, just doing cloud, because I know that's the skill that I need to survive in this industry. That's the core skill you need, cloud. So, yeah. Kapil says, what are your future plans personally, professionally? Future plans, grow as a person and a human being. Wanna essentially learn a lot on cloud. Eventually wanna start a non-profit organization when I have enough money, which I don't at this point, clearly. Wanna start a non-profit organization and teach programming and software engineering to underprivileged children who do not have the right facilities and stuff, right? So that is the goal. Earn money and then open some organization. Kapil, right, during our engineering days, we struggled a lot, right? Like even with small things, how resources are not available, right? Like the right amount of resources were not always available, right? So hopefully, if I can save enough money, wanna start an organization or a non-profit small fund, maybe to teach couple of students, provide them a laptop, basic necessity, right? A simple laptop, so that they can learn, grow, they can, so just that is, because I'm not gonna take anything and see, coming here, I've learned like you're not gonna take anything in life. So that's why I make all these YouTube videos. I write blogs, articles. I just wanna eventually, after like 40s, I wanna basically be a philanthropist basically. Basically, I'll start teaching children about, young children, underprivileged children about software engineering. So that's the future. He says, so you're planning to do in the US or you will ever return back to India? I don't know, man. I don't know. So let's see how things goes, man. Yeah. But that is basically what I want to do. Open maybe a non-profit, small sort of coaching class for free for underprivileged children to teach them software so they can land up good jobs and they can help and support their family. Think about like people from villages or rural areas, right, where a basic necessity is also not available. Forget about internet, right? Maybe just providing a laptop, choosing 2 or 3 or even 5 people who has potential and then training them on software so that they can land good jobs, better jobs, and they can change their life, right? And they can break essentially that barrier, right? So that is sort of the goal in my future. Oh, so Kapil says, tell us something about your current job. Well, I work as a data engineer, team lead. I heavily work with AWS all the time. I only work with AWS at this point. I manage a team of 6 to 7 engineers. We essentially develop frameworks, we write ETL jobs, we move data, we create data lakes, we create data warehouse, we essentially make event-driven applications. We make software that is resilient, that is highly available, multi-region, active. That is sort of what I do in my company, right? So essentially, I'm responsible for the technology, for the stack, for billing, for making sure everything is optimized, doing code reviews, and managing the team. So that is all I do in my company, right? So of course, at times I jump in and I do the dev work myself. But so to answer that is all I do. Roshan says, I have completed my BCA from Ignou, Open Distance Learning. Now, which option should I choose for MCA? So you have completed your BCA. Sorry, I don't know what BCA is. Could you help me out what BCA is? Bachelor's of... sorry, again, as I said, I don't know what BCA is. So if you could elaborate that a bit. Rahul says, hi Somil, I'm currently building a search engine using Haystack. Do you have any... Well, so here is the caveat, Rahul. I have heard all these buzzwords about 3 things. Elasticsearch, Haystack. What's the other thing that I was at? Wait, what was it? The third thing? I forgot this name. Vespa. Personally, nothing can beat Elasticsearch. All these Haystack and this and that, it's all derived from Elk, right? There's nothing that you cannot do in Elasticsearch, and hence I recommend, if I were you, I would stick to Elasticsearch. And hear me out why I say that. Number one, the community support. The community for Elasticsearch is massive compared to Haystack or Vespa, right? So there are a lot of active developers who are working with Elasticsearch. Haystack is a new one, trending, a little bit trending, but I would still stick to Elasticsearch because the features, and there are a lot of amazing features in Elk, right? There are coming Elasticsearch 8 and stuff, vector support and all these stuff. I would stick with Elasticsearch if I were you, because in my company as well, there were all these side conversations about Vespa and Haystack. I said, all right, all that is cool, fine, but we're gonna stick with Elasticsearch because that is the future. People and all the companies are moving with Elk for all their machine learning driven workloads, NLP, and there's nothing that Elasticsearch cannot do, right? So Rahul, I say Elasticsearch instead of Haystack. Roshan says, distance mode or regular mode from college? Well, again, depends, Roshan, right? If you are married and if you have children and family, then distance makes sense, right? Because you can take care of your family, you can go to work, and as well as you can learn, right? If you're not married, then you can again go to classes, and depends upon your personal choice, as I said, right? All right, Rahul, sounds good. Yeah, please, if you have any questions, pop it in the chat, and we'll discuss more about that. Yeah, as I said, right, I'm gonna stick with Elasticsearch. I know where the industries are going. I know what are the trending technologies, so I'll always stick with that, no matter what. In my company also there was like noise about Vespa, Haystack. I said it's gonna be Elasticsearch. So yeah, I mean, if you're unmarried, Roshan, then I think you can go to universities, and I think that would be again, it depends upon your personal choice, right? Um, G says Django future. Well, I don't know, right? Like, if you look, there are a lot of amazing open source technology that are coming in, right? Again, Woo, this, that, and front end. Again, depends what you're trying to develop, back end or front end for Django, right? Totally depends, right? Compiled here says a question, says, let me read. Hi Somil, our project requirement is using two replicas in Elasticsearch. Okay. The ES that is currently deployed has only one node. Okay, so the ES that is deployed, okay, has only one node and as a result, the health is being shown yellow. Yes, so if you need replicas, again, there are consideration, right? And I know why you did that, because of the cost, right? Ideally, you should have a three master node and the data node, right? Uh, I don't know if you know or not, but if your machine is 32 gig, your Elasticsearch only gets 16 gigs, right? Because it will divide half on the OS and the JVM, right? So if you could specify a little bit about the requirements, for example, what is the volume of data, right? I want to know volume. I want to know what is your CPU configuration. For example, what is your RAM? How many cores do you have? What is your network bandwidth? And based on that, I could maybe suggest you something. Can you tell please to increase a node or cluster? Yeah, if you could tell me those numbers first, capacity in GB or terabytes, then I need RAM, and then what is your, do you have a data node, or do you have a master and data node, or do you just have one single machine? Because that might be your problems. And again, shards, right? Did you allocate the right number of shards, right? Ideally, per shard should be 25 to 30 GB, not more than that. So if you maybe answer these questions, I can answer. And again, as I said, if you remember, I made a video where I showed a formula, right? There's a formula through which you calculate how many data nodes do you need, how many master. Ideally, three master nodes is what people use ideally in the industry, right? Because in production, when the one master node fails, the other two will essentially save you, right? So ideally three, and data nodes, again, depending upon how much data you have, how much shards are you using, these all plays a very important role. And what refresh interval you're using, right? Is it a static node, which means are we expecting data in that node, or is it one time, one time you load data, that's it, So maybe if you provide me information, I can help you with all those. Do you want me to tell how to increase the node in a cluster? Well, if you're on AWS, you could easily add how many ever nodes you want, right? And if you're managing your cluster by yourself, then you have to do that through Elasticsearch YML file. It's a little tedious though, but I think there are a lot of resources through which you could essentially increase your data nodes. So yeah. If you're on cloud, as I said, right, that's why I said people are moving to cloud, right? Manage Elasticsearch, right? Add how many ever nodes you want. You could scale up, scale down based on your needs, right? So yeah. Roshan says, what issue I will face for getting a job when doing a distance node? Well, to be honest, it doesn't matter, man. Again, I don't know about India, right? Will they judge you on your degree on this and that? But What is more important is your skills, right? If you know your skills, if you know what you're talking about, degree is a piece of paper. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. That's what I believe, right? Again, I don't know how Indian companies select and hire, right? But ideally, if you have the required skill set, all this is at the end of the day is a piece of paper. At the end of the day, it's your skills, it's how much you know and how much you are willing to learn. That's all is important, and your attitude, of course, in your interview. So doesn't matter, to be honest, really. GJ Python here says Python path for MANG. What is this? I don't know what MANG is. Haven't even heard this word MANG. Oh, it is. Do you mean MANGA? Catalog DRPA all files. Universal manga downloader. Huh, not heard about that, man. Oh, are you referring to like companies? Meta, Amazon, Netflix, Google, MAN. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, okay. FANG companies. Python path for FANG. Well, I don't work in a FANG company, so I don't know, right? FANG companies will only take you based on your data structures and algorithm. They don't care how much cloud and this, how much talent. They'll only judge you on data structures, algorithm, theory, concepts, and all these, because that's the procedure in big companies, which I don't like, which is why I'm not in FANG, which is why I won't be able to tell you the path for MANG or FANG, right? My personal path is more knowledge driven, right? I don't care about that data structure, all these invert a linked list or a binary, this and that. I'm more a hands-on guy. I'm more a practical oriented guy. I can I can solve problems, right? I can solve real world problems, right, of data and create lakes, right? But in all these MANG and FANG and all that companies, you're just gonna be judged on data structures, algorithm. Can you write a lead? Can you write a linked list binary? Can you inverse this and that? So I'm not the right person for those sort of path. Yeah, as simple as it is, right? Like FANG companies only, yeah, data structures, algorithm. You're not gonna. There's not much like, yeah, you will make a lot of money there, but learning opportunities and growing opportunities pretty less there. So again, depends from person to person. Again, everybody has their own perspective, right? That's my perspective, right? So all right, yeah, please put your questions. I'll be there for 15 more minutes. So yeah, put your questions and I can answer your questions live here. How to secure APIs in public? A couple of ways are there, right? One is JWT authentication. That's one of the industry standard best way to essentially authenticate APIs, right? Some sort of authentication, right? Validating headers, right? Making sure that it's not coming from malicious stuff, right? Implementing rate limiting, right? And essentially having your API behind a proxy gateway, right? So that you're basically behind an Nginx or a web proxy, stuff like that, right? Ideally, all of that is done through cloud very easily. API gateway, then you can put WAF on that, AWS WAF. There's a rate limiting, there's quotas, right? All this is very easy on cloud, right? You can authenticate your REST APIs through either IAM or Cognito. If you are using your old Flask and all these stuff, then you have to build your solution. You have to make your API key, JWT authentication, rate limiting, so making sure your headers You're accepting only API requests from a valid headers, right? Implementing caching solutions, right? So, what part do you suggest? I have 2 years of experience in Python and Django development. I say, I would say move to cloud, man. That's where the world is moving, right? The world and everybody is moving to cloud. So I think, please don't get me wrong, but your skills are great. That's great, Django and stuff, and it will be there. All these stuff will be there forever. But the more valuable skills are cloud today. So I would say start learning Lambdas, S3, DynamoDB, API Gateway. That is the future, right? Or any cloud in general, right? I'm not just talking about Amazon, but cloud is the future, right? So how to scale your APIs for millions of requests, right? How do you deploy? How do you make sure your APIs are highly available in multiple region, performing load balancing, maybe or through Kubernetes pods or ECS? That's the future, right? That cloud is the future. Again, I always recommend in my YouTube as well, like learn cloud, learn cloud. That's where world is moving. That's where everybody needs the skills, right? Like every company requires a cloud engineer now because they want to move to cloud. They want to develop robust solutions, right? uh, they want to scale up easily for their clients horizontally, right? So cloud is the future. All right, I'm gonna be here for 10 more minutes and then I'll hop off from today's Q&A. So yeah, any more questions? Put them in the comment section and let's talk about your questions if you have any. Why database price is higher in cloud platforms? As I am a student and I want to host my Django website, I need a Postgres, which is $15 a month. Well, Postgres is not $15 a month. You can host your own Postgres if you need. I think you're going for RDS, managed solutions, right? You can easily go to what do you say, EC2 instance, install your Postgres on that. That's doable. You could also spin up a Postgres using a Docker container and have Docker on an EC2 instance. That is doable. RDS, there's a free version as well. You have to select a T2 micro or T2 medium. If you select something crazy like C5, M5, you're gonna get charged, man. Cloud, when you sign up for cloud, they have a free tier plan, right? And also you could I think there's a Amazon gives you like $300-400 of credit for students. I think there's a website you can apply, right? But yeah, I don't think so there's a $15 a month, to be honest, unless and until you leave it on you leave it on for like 20-30 days. It's going to cost you money, right? Because you are spinning up that server on their farm, right? So they're going to cost you money, right? Unless and until you're in a free tier and you're selecting the right instance size. Otherwise you're going to get charged. Well, there are videos on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out, GJ, right? So there are a lot of playlists. Just go and learn from maybe S3 or Lambdas or S3, right? All you gotta do is just spend some time, and there is material and resources everywhere, right? YouTube, Coursera, edX, everywhere. You will find tutorials, right? Kip Bena says, why did you say Flask is old, bro? I never said Flask is old. When did I say that? I just said people are gonna move to cloud for APIs and event-driven application. I never said it's old. Yeah, Flask, Django, all of that is gonna be there forever. No, nobody's gonna take that, right? All I'm saying, people are gonna move to cloud eventually, right? They are moving, I think. A lot of companies are moving. They wanna have their APIs, scaled up, down, right? I just said you have to learn the cloud skill because if you want to use Flask, you should know how you would scale up your Flask application, right? In a Docker or a Kubernetes, so hence you gotta learn cloud, right? That's all, man. Uh, Mrutujay says, "What tech stack you mostly work on?" I I work on serverless stack, AWS Lambda, AWS SNS, S3, DynamoDB, Kinesis Data Stream, Kinesis Firehouse, Event Bridge, S3. What else? AWS Batch, API gateways, heavily Lambdas, very very heavily Lambdas, especially step functions, DynamoDB. Yeah, that's my area. Yep, I'm aware about a Zappa framework. I will still go with serverless. Google it, you will see why. Because the community that you have for serverless is major than Zappa, right? So I always stay with what the trend is, right? So the trend is serverless. I'll stay with serverless. Neeraj says, "Hey, Samuel, how are you?" I'm good, Neeraj. How are you doing, man? That's nice, Neeraj. That's good, good, good. That's good. Yep, we were just having some debate here, Neeraj. You haven't missed anything else. People were asking me questions, and I just said, like, move to cloud because that is the future, right? People are gonna move to cloud. Companies are moving to cloud. Companies wanna scale their microservices. Company wanna have resilient application. They wanna have their architecture highly available. Hence, I was saying to everybody who was watching, move to cloud, learn cloud. Cloud is the future, right? So, just that. Yep, I'm telling you guys, 4 or 5 years from now, it's all cloud, right? All your databases are on cloud, RDS, Redshift, warehouse, data processing, everything is cloud. So Neeraj says, I have a question. I have a JSON schema and want to generate a JSON data based on the defined schema. Yeah, so what's your question? I'm still not understanding. You have a JSON schema and want to generate a JSON data based on a defined schema. Oh, so you have a schema and you want to generate data based on the schema? Yeah, you could use, I think, JSON.dump you can provide the serializer, the name of the class when you do that. I think you could do that. Is that what you're asking? Kip Bena says, big thank you. I'm still learning from you a lot of things. Well, thank you so much. Seeing the forest here says, have you tried Haystack for deploying? I'm not gonna try Haystack because the future is Elasticsearch. And no matter what other people are saying, Haystack and Vespa and this and that, the future is Elasticsearch for search engine. Even for NLP, Elasticsearch has all those solutions. So I am gonna stick with where the trend is, which is Elasticsearch. Remember, always, the reason I say all these stuff, remember, why I keep telling you all these stuff, right? Because Elasticsearch is a managed service on cloud, which means if I wanna, in future, if I wanna add more nodes, I can scale up, I can scale down. I have support there. Haystack, where is your support? If I wanna scale up, if I have like 13 terabyte of data or 50 terabyte of data, can I scale up? Can I scale down? What if the cluster goes down? Whom shall I contact, right? All that is still up in the air, right? Elasticsearch is a well-known product in the industry, right? You have support, you have a massive developer community, right? So as I said, I'm gonna stay with the cloud unless and until Haystack comes on AWS as a managed service. I'm not gonna learn it or not gonna even touch it because Elastic is the future search. I just said right for searching purposes. Yeah. I know it's a preprocessor that works with Elasticsearch. Yeah, I saw a couple of videos. Yeah, but again, Elasticsearch has all these plugins. You don't need those preprocessors from Haystack. I mean, at the end of the day, what are we doing? We just have some vectors and we're performing like similarity search, right? N dimension vectors essentially. So, I mean, and then we are essentially ranking or doing ABC. So, Neeraj says no schema is defined and no schema is defined and it has a certain types and based on the data it should be not sure Neeraj, this is not definitely not pretty helpful. If you could shoot me an email with your problem, maybe we could talk about that. I'm not understanding in the chats here though. Mrutyujay says just have one question. Trying to integrate Elasticsearch on my Express MongoDB, okay, but could not find any good documentation to attach it with existing DB data. Could you MongoDB? What did you say? MongoDB. If you're using MongoDB Atlas, why can't you use something called MongoDB Streams and stream those events into AWS Event Bridge and then stream those events into Elasticsearch or OpenSearch? I have a video on that, right? So basically, what you're trying to do is basically you're trying to move data from MongoDB to Elasticsearch for your search purposes, right? That's what you're doing, right? So I recommend using streams, right? MongoDB streams to stream your data in real time from Mongo to Elasticsearch. So the way this will work is you will stream your data from Mongo to Event Bridge to SQS to Lambda. Lambda will process and into Elasticsearch. Seeing the forest, thank you very much. What do you recommend for those who want to use Elasticsearch but can't afford the premium plans to get access to the ML tools? How should I generate a vector embeddings? Who said you need premium tools and pay for that, right? Well, so if you download Elasticsearch from the website, there is a mapping called dense vector, right? You could perform all the stuff that I mentioned on that, right? So I don't see a reason why you need custom premium plans, right? So if you could define the dense vector mapping and if you could write cosine similarity, that's what you need, right? So, and I have tutorials for that on my channel. I made several tutorials as well. Mrutyujay says not using Atlas, using a local MongoDB. Yep. In that case, unfortunately, you have to write a script that's gonna maybe invoke on a schedule and it's gonna move data from MongoDB to Elasticsearch. That's the only way if it's running locally. Yeah, if you're using local MongoDB, then yep, that's the way. You gotta write a Python code that's gonna invoke on a schedule in the night and then read data from the last pointer and then keep adding, you gotta keep moving data incrementally into your Elasticsearch because yep, that's the way then. You gotta do that through a Python script. Can you share me your email address? Well, yes, sure I can. Seeing the forest says, how do you create the vectors to store the dense vector field? You wrote a custom script using Spacey. My point about Haystack is that it seems to be very nice tool for doing the work. Well, look, I essentially, we can use like TensorFlow hub pre-trained models and convert those item into word embeddings and then essentially upload that to Elasticsearch. I haven't tried Haystack really, and I'm not looking forward to do that, to be honest, because I have developed my own semantic search using, BERT model, 512 dimensions. All you gotta do, take the data, pass it to the model. It's gonna convert into a vector and then upload to the ELK. I did not use Spacey at all for that, right? So yeah. I like developing my own custom stuff instead of using like libraries and stuff, right? Because I feel like I'm more in control for all those stuff, right? I can define my mapping, I can define my shards, I can customize stuff if needed. So yeah. Again, feel free if you want to use haystack. Not saying yes or no, whatever XYZ. I'm not definitely using that for sure. And as I said, right, I have like several blogs on my YouTube also about semantic and all this vector stuff, right? So I don't see a point, again, of learning something extra when I already know I can do stuff, right? So, uh, you know, seeing the forest says, thanks very much. I do recommend at least taking a look at Haystack though. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, but I also look forward for following your tutorials more closely to learn more. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Says, I appreciate all your share here to learn from. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yep. Yeah, I'll take a look at it for sure. No doubt. No doubt about it. It's just a wrapper, right? All these stuff, hey and when, all these stuff is essentially just a wrapper function. That's all I feel, right? All right. Any more further questions that we have for today? All right, I'll be there for 5 more minutes and then goodbye to everybody. So 5 more minutes, a few more questions that I'll take, and then I'll hop off for the day. All right, is there any more questions for today? More than happy to answer. We'll be there for 5 more minutes. Emmanuel here says, how long did it take to you to learn Elasticsearch? Let me think. 2 years. 2 years. I started in 2020 with Elasticsearch, and this is what, 2022? Yeah, approximately 1.5, 2 years with that stack. And again, I work on it like day in and day out in the company. So I see problems, issue, I read a lot of posts and stuff. So that's how I've learned it. Self-taught person, to be honest. To say it's a self-taught person. Yeah. All right. Yep. Any more questions that I can answer today? I'll be there for 5 more minutes, but then I'll hop off. Roshan says, make some video on what things we can do with that service, like confused with AWS, bad job, Lambda. All right, sure. I'll do that. I'll make some videos for you, maybe like an interview question for Lambda, what you can do with it, what you can build with it, like theory videos, right? You want? I'll do that. Seeing the forest says NLP stuff can go very deep, not just semantic search, but a question and answer, etc. Do you think that sort of stuff is an overkill? I mean, it all depends, right? It all depends and it comes at cost, right? Remember, all these stuff doesn't come cheap, right? Elasticsearch, all these vectors and all, you gotta store, the space grows up to terabyte and petabyte, right? And it's gonna cost you dollars, right? The cost would be like $60,000-$70,000, right? It's not coming cheap, right? So it all depends upon the budget, it all depends upon the use case, it all depends upon what the company needs, what the company's ask is, right? Yeah, for all that stuff, I mean, for example, let's say question answer, you have something called Dialogflow. Not sure if you have heard about it. You could build all that stuff really easily, question answer stuff using Dialogflow. So it really depends upon what you're trying to build, right? So Emmanuel says, what was your motivation for learning AWS services and how did you learn about them? That's a great question. That's a nice question that I would love to answer. So I started as an intern in the company. In my previous, I did like 3 internship. In my first internship also, they were using cloud. I had freaking no idea what the hell was a Lambda before, right? My third internship I joined, again, we were on a verge of transitioning into the cloud, but I went to a lot of seminars and like people were like talking about these Lambdas and all these SQL. I was like, what the hell is all these stuff, right? And soon my company also started the cloud migration, and then I saw, holy shit, you can spin up like 1,000 workers. So when I actually saw like things in action, right? When I saw like you can scale up pretty fast, easily, right? That sort of was a fascinating moment for me, and which is why I was like, okay, what about this? What about that? The amount of data you can store, the amount of data you can process, right? Traditional system doesn't work that way, right? You can't process a 20 terabyte data on a regular SQL which is running on your on-premises. Hell no, it's not gonna work, right? So you need something called Athena or maybe a Redshift, right? So hence I started enjoying, or I would say I started enjoying to see things in action, right? When I saw like I was able to fire 100 Lambdas and I could process millions of data in a matter of a short amount of time, that was a fascinating moment, right? That was really a fascinating point, right? So hence I started learning more and more. Then I went into, again, storage. So the way my learning part was, I took one topic. For example, I took serverless, right? Went into complete detail, Lambdas, SQS, SNS, Athena, all these serverless stack I understood pretty well. I made some small mini projects. I understood that. Then I went into multi-region models, architecture, event-driven architectures, right? DynamoDB global tables, API gateway, Route 53, ECS on multiple region, right? So all that stuff. So that's how I started exploring, and it's always learning on cloud. Because no matter how much you learn, it's always a new on cloud. So yeah, that is sort of the answer. Praveen says, "Bhai, will watch after match." Okay, bhai, कोई बात नहीं है. कौन सी मैच है आज? Is there a match today? I'm not aware about it. Is there a cricket match? So yeah, Emmanuel. So I hope that answers your questions, right? And as I said, right, every company wants to scale up, right? Every company they wanna scale up for millions of users, right? And hence companies are adopting cloud. They are moving to cloud, and hence cloud. Okay, that's great. Looks like there's a cricket match today. Has been a long time I watched cricket. So really, India versus Pakistan? Really? Is there a match? Wow, that's amazing. Emmanuel says, what are the cloud? What's the cloud, and what's the alternative of being in the cloud? What's the cloud? Not sure I understood the first part. And what is the alternative to being in a cloud? Are you asking like a difference? What is the advantage of being in cloud? Is that what you're asking? If you could rephrase your question so I could understand a little bit better. Again, the advantage of being in cloud is, again, as I said, right, you would only pay for the resource that you use. So for example, if I use only X amount of lambdas, I'll only pay for X amount, right? So basically that. Again, as I said, the benefits are truly like auto scaling, scaling up, cost, right? You'll only pay for the items that you use, right, on cloud. So that's one of the best part, right? And you can easily scale up pretty fast on cloud. That's one of the advantages of being in cloud. All right, has been 11 o'clock and I'll hop off. Well, thank you so much for all your questions and I hope you guys have enjoyed. Keep smiling, keep learning. I'll see you in the next Q&A. Thank you so much for watching. I'll maybe try to do a next Q&A within a week or two. And I'll see you then. Thank you so much, guys. Stay safe and